What's going on? This is your man Jose, aka the Dominican Dream, for the boxing roundtable alongside,
It's your boy, the Maniac.
and we are ready to talk boxing. Coming off the heels of the Shakur Stevenson victory over Artem Hartunian in Newark Prudential Center. Maniac, you were live in the building. There's been a lot of spillover from this fight, just like there was for the previous fight that Shakur Stevenson had against Edwin De Los Santos. Basically, just like I mentioned with Teofimo Lopez, Shakur Stevenson was on probation, you know, more so than Teo, as far as what kind of performance he was going to have and, what the critics were going to say about it, both analysts, fans, etc. And he did his thing. He did his thing as far as he fulfilled his objective, which was to win. But it's how he did it that it seems that many people have a problem with. You were there live. Talk to us.
Yeah, man. Look, like I mentioned, first of all, the Prudential Center jersey came out for Shakur. Let's be clear. The Prudential Center was packed. Wasn't sold out, but it was a packed arena, So we said, listen, man, we here to support you. Again, hey, Gio, what up, my brother?
What's up, my guys? How y'all?
Good.
Shout out to our man Gio. Thanks for coming on. Follow
Yes,
at
yes,
They
sir.
Know Boxing on Instagram. They Know
Yes, sir.
Boxing page is popping. A lot of followers, and you know your man is Generation C, but he know boxing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Definitely,
now
man.
we just talking. Sorry, Maniac. We just
Yeah.
talking a little bit of the Shakur Stevenson. We want to know what's next. We're gonna speculate what's next for him. Who's he gonna sign with? Who should he fight next? Who can he fight next? And still analyzing what the people thought about his performance overall. And Sean is breaking it down right now. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Sean.
yeah. So listen, man, look. When it comes to Shakur, right? When we see fighters at an elite level, we expect elite performances. It was a dominant performance, not an elite performance, right? Because one thing with Shakur we've noticed at times, probably with the exception of the Valdez fight, he won't try to impose his will. He won't try to show dog. Very rare we saw that. Maybe against Jamel Herring. Now, by it, maybe it's not in Shakur. It's just not who he is. He's not comfortable. He's not comfortable fighting like that. And I'm cool with that. Don't get me wrong. Every fight is different. We can't expect Shakur to be Tank. We know that. He's not gonna be knocking dudes out. And I'm okay with that. But what I'm not okay with is that you're telling people, social media, you're telling fighters, I'm like this, I'm like that, I do that. And then when we get in the ring, we're waiting, like, okay, yeah, you outbox him. We know you're going to do that. Okay. Come on, Shakur, like, step it up. And we don't see that. And that's where the frustration, because we know Shakur got the skills. No one is
Mhm.
doubting if he's a good fighter. No one is doubting if he got skill. No, we're not doing that. We're just saying, bro, just like we ripped Teo. I ripped Teo last week. I said, bro, if you're an elite fighter, we need elite performance. And the same thing, they both dominated their fights. Of course, Teo got hit way more because Shakur, he's too defensive minded. He
Mhm.
relies on defense too much. So once it's like this example, Shakur's in the AC. He's cooling. Once he come out the room, he'll be in the heat for a little while. Then I gotta get back. I don't feel comfortable in this heat. Let me go back. And you're like, nah, bro, you good in this heat, bro. You could prosper in this heat. But
Mhm.
he doesn't do that, Gio. So we're knocking again, because I want to be clear. No one is doubting if me. I know Shakur is a nasty fighter.
Mm.
But what I don't like is that he's not willing to step on the gas and show that killer instinct at times. You gotta show it, Gio. You gotta switch it up. Because if people want to be like, oh, but look at Floyd. Nah, that's a horrible comparison. Because Floyd at 27 years old, he was giving dudes NyQuil. Let's be clear. When he was 27. Don't compare Floyd's one of his last 4 fights to no. If you're gonna compare them at their age. And at 27, Floyd was serious. So all I'm saying is this: for Shakur, to me, regardless, because I'm not a person that I get in my feelings. He could beat a Tank. He could beat a Pit Bull. He could beat Tio. He possesses that.
Yeah.
That's the truth. Those are the facts. Does he beat them? We don't know, because obviously we got to see it. How he's gonna react, Gio, when he finally gets that first punch, when they really test his chin, because his chin hasn't been tested, and that's a testament to him. Don't get me wrong, because he's so good defensively. The dudes, even when they hit him, is really nothing major. But eventually, this is boxing. Floyd Mayweather, any great defensive fighter in history has got their chin checked. And Shakur will get his check. Now, how does he react when that does happen? It remains to see. I can't say he's made out of a wet paper bag, because I haven't seen that. But we shall see. All I'm saying is, I'm gonna wrap it up. Then I'm gonna let you cook, Gio.
Mm-hmm.
All I'm saying is this: Shakur, all we want is elite performance. Going there. At least if he showed it, he was hunting Hartunian down and he's in the pocket, bang, bang, bang. We like, oh, all right. He didn't get him out of there. But he didn't really try. He tried a little bit, Gio. A little bit. He got out the AC. He went to the living room. A little too hot in here. I'm going to do a little bit, then I'm going to go back in the, I can't be doing this. So again, that's where people are criticizing. Because again, he talks. You got to remember, they're going to hold you accountable, Gio. You can't say you like this and you do this and you do that. And then you in the ring and it's like, yo, bro. Because even Floyd, that people say he was boring, was more entertaining than that. And then Shakur says, well, maybe I need a fighter that's going to bring the best out of me. Well, De Los Santos was coming forward all night, my dude. What happened? Oh, your hand was hurt? Nah, bro, I don't want to hear excuses. So that's me on Shakur. He's still, to me, one of the best fighters, regardless. He just that play of safeness might cause him down the line in the big fight. So, Gio, go ahead, bro. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know. The performance was it wasn't shaky. Like I said, it was more dominant. Like it was more dominant than Edwin De Los Santos fight. But my biggest takeaway from it, honestly, was the corner. Him not listening to his corner. He told his grandpa. It was just one line that stuck out to me. He told his grandpa, like, if a fighter wants to survive, he gonna survive. And that's like, when he said that, it's like, yo, that's not true. If you good enough, you can get a fighter out of there if you good enough. And his grandpa is telling him, mind you, his grandpa giving him great instructions. Shakur kind of started acting like he had one punch knockout power, like he don't have to beat you up to walk you out the door. Like he started moving like he could just wait for the shot and then walk you out the door. His grandpa telling him, like, use the jab. If you use the jab, the knockout gonna come. If you let your hands go behind that jab, the knockout gonna come. Basically telling him, like, yeah, you walking forward, but you waiting on him still. You walking forward, you're not doing nothing. And Shakur arguing with his grandpa, talking about something. If a fighter want to survive, he gonna survive. And I'm like, even his grandpa telling him the way to get the stoppage, and he's so mentally out of it. He telling his grandpa, if a fighter wants to survive, he's gonna survive. Like, no, that's not true at all. You don't think everybody who Tank fight wanted to survive? They all wanted to survive, but he knocked them all out. So it's like, that was my biggest takeaway. It seemed that was the most mentally out of it that I ever seen Shakur. Like, I never seen him in his corner basically telling his grandpa like you're wrong. Yeah,
That yo, that's a good assessment, Gio. And you know what? I even watched the fight on 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 TV, and I don't remember, I didn't even see that part. I did remember telling his grandfather like, I'm gonna knock him out, I'm gonna knock him out. He kept like brushing him off, like I'm gonna knock him out. Like you said, listen, bro, relax, listen, and that's yo, great point, Gio, because that's another thing mentally. What is it he gonna be thinking if he's in there with a tank and the fight is close and Tank is tagging him? Is he gonna feel like, oh, this dude gonna knock me out? You know, and the mental part is everything in that ring.
yeah,
So
that was
that's a good finding right there that you brought up. A good point,
yeah,
man.
because
I didn't
basically
see that.
his grandpa was basically saying what y'all saying, basically telling him like Shakur, like you could get him out of there, but you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do this. Basically saying, but you got to be more mean if you want to get him out of there. You got to want to get him out of there. And he telling his grandpa like if a fighter wants to survive, he gonna survive. He talking back to his mind. I never seen him talk back to his grandpa. That's the first time I'm ever seeing him in the corner and seeing him basically telling his grandpa he wrong. And like I said, is that was my biggest takeaway from it. Wasn't even a physical aspect. It was just mentally. I never seen him that out of it, and to the point where, like I said, his grandpa was telling him use the jab, use this, and it did get to a point where Shakur abandoned the whole jab. Like I said, he started fighting like he a one punch guy. Like he can afford to walk you down and just wait on one big shot. It's like Shakur, if you stop somebody, you got to walk him down. You got to beat him up. You're not a one punch KO artist. You have to accumulate punching on him over and over and over and walk him out the door. You can't give him the high guard, walk him down, and wait for a perfect shot. You're not that type of puncher. And
Correct.
his grandpa was telling him that, like, use the jab, use the combination, use this. And like I said, he wasn't listening. He was waiting for one big shot.
Well, you know what, guys, sorry about the inconvenience earlier. Um, I got a little interruption on my phone, but to Sean's point, um, I've been one of the major detractors of Shakur Stevenson. Not only because of what I believe to be him, not only because I believe him to have been, a little overrated, a little overhyped, but also it's his persona, his attitude, the way he carries himself in and outside the ring, right? And then again, contrasting that to his performances. But I will say this, sitting down and watching that fight while it was happening, being able to focus on it. The kid is, I think, in recent years, one of the most phenomenally defensively talented fighters that I've seen as of late. The dude is definitely, his reflexes are just God given. Um, his A1 as far as what he does, and he does it either with his feet or at close range. At least with Hartunian, he was able to do that because I don't believe with a De Los Santos he would have done the close range defense, right? Because De Los Santos is an explosive guy. We seen him in the fight with Jose
Right.
Valenzuela, who's about to fight Pitbull. And again, if Shakur could have stood in the pocket with him, he would have, but he didn't. He chose the feet defense in that fight, and that was smart, yes. But what wasn't smart was the lack of risk taking or the lack of what was coming back from him. So, one thing that you said earlier, Sean, that you mentioned, oh yeah, I still believe he's one of the best fighters. I think there's an asterisk there. I still believe he's one of the most talented fighters, one of the fighters with perhaps the most potential, or one of the best defensively talented fighters. But is he one of the best fighters? I think that is still a question that remains. And a lot of people, again, he's gonna get criticized because of his mouth, his attitude, and the stuff that he says and where he ranks himself. And bro, that's in your own hometown. Everybody keeps saying it, in your own hometown. And this is another thing. He gets mad when anyone criticizes him. He starts cursing people out and threatening people and this and that. So your own people walked down on you. Your own hood, Newark. So what you gonna say? Fuck Newark? Because Newark wasn't fucking with you like that at the end. They saw it and said, you know what, I'm good. I could go home now. I could go get some chicken. I'm hungry. So what you gonna do? You gonna offend your own people? You can't, man. You got to be able to say, all right, well, it's unanimous now. I'm not. I'm not. I'm not performing to the potential that I should be able to, especially when I'm being compared to the guy that I'm calling out, right? So, I think that just like Teofimo Lopez, I think that Shakur is what he is, right? I think he's a tremendously talented defensive fighter. I think he's a sharpshooter. He has some good punches. He technically his punches are placed perfectly. He turns his gloves over great, but he don't got that pop. He don't got it, right? Or the demeanor in the ring, that toughness, that risk taking. He don't like that. He's a safety first fighter. So I think it is what it is with him. He'll beat a lot of people on points, but he's not really gonna outdog a dog,
Yeah.
right? And he did it with Valdez. I remember what I told y'all about Valdez. Valdez is really a career 126 pounder. He's a small dude. In fact, he's about to come back at 130 again. Because now Barrett is coming down to 130 because he felt 135 was too much for him. Right? So my thing is this. Going forward, that being said, with everything I said, we got three people, Gio. Number one is Tank. Number two is Tio. And number three is Pitbull. And around his weight class. Fellow superstars. What fight is realistic for him? And we also have Frank Martin, who did have a fight with him, but pulled out. And I don't believe Frank was ducking Shakur. I believe they told Frank, "Yo, chill. We got the Tank fight lined up for you," and that's a no-brainer. Imagine you being at 168 pounds. Someone says, and you got a fight lined up with Benavidez, and someone says, "Yo, scratch that. I got Canelo for you." You gonna take Canelo? You gonna take Canelo? You know what I mean? So we can't really blame Frank for that. That being said, I believe that he's not going to get the Tank fight next. He's not going to get the Tank fight unless he's a free agent or unless he signs with PBC. Pitbull, I don't think that's a fight that's going to materialize. Plus, he's still at 135. Shakur, I'm sorry. T.O. is a fight that can materialize if he stays with top rank. What do y'all think is going to happen, and what do y'all think should happen next?
Yeah, Gio.
I think, honestly, I think his only realistic opponent probably going to be the guy who upset Navarrete because Loma and Tank going to fight. So Loma's off the table as an opponent. Williams Zepeda is he the mandatory to all belts. He damn near undisputed mandatory and shit. He damn near undisputed mandatory challenger because he's the mandatory to every single belt at this point. So he got to pick and choose. But if you Oscar De La Hoya, honestly, you would probably choose the guy who upset it, Navarrete, and then you just gonna not fight nobody. And you're gonna wait for Tank. You're just gonna keep Zepeda undefeated, and you're gonna wait for Tank because Tank gonna fight him eventually. I think that's what De La Hoya gonna do. I think he's gonna go for the guy who upset it, Navarrete, and then he's gonna keep Zepeda away from Shakur and wait for Tank. Honestly, if Shakur don't re-sign, that's the only way he's gonna get that fight. The person who upset it, Navarrete, because I don't know, I just don't see him. Even if he signed with PBC, I don't see them giving him Tank right away. He still has to wait 2-3 fights regardless. I don't think he's gonna sign with PBC and fight him next or fight him the fight after the first one. So he'll have to wait regardless.
Yeah, I mean,
it's looking like he about to get froze out, honestly.
Well, so I think if Shakur really wants smoke, then he stays a free agent, right? Because now he ain't tied to nobody, no politics involved. So he could say, if he could go to now he can knock on PBC door, like, yo, where's Shakur? Where Tank at? I want that Tank smoke. Or he go to knock on Golden Boy door. Ta ta ta. Yo, where's Cepeda at? Was good. Now, if he don't resign with Top Rank, you know Bob Arum ain't gonna give him no fight. So him and Tio, that'd be out the question. If he goes ahead and be a free agent. Now, the Pitbull fight is realistic. The Tank, and even I think Dennis Berenchek. That's the Ukrainian that beat Navarrete. Um, it's interesting, man, because it all depends on what happens to Shakur. Because when we say realistic, we don't know based on what he's gonna do. If he resigns with Top Rank, then Pitbull and Tank at the moment is not realistic. Cepeda is. Maybe he throws a wrench and says, you know what? I'm going to go to 140 and fight Teofimo for his belt. I'm going to be the man at 140. Because to me, I would love for him to do some shit like that. But would Teo take that fight? That's also a question. Now, we know Teo want all the smoke. But again, is it, was that the high risk, low reward for him? Like, damn, if Shakur come up here at 140 in his first fight and cook me, how that's going to look. So that'll be interesting. But regardless, I'll say this. There are options for him regardless. If he signs with Top Rank, then the Tio and Cepeda is probably realistic because Bob and Golden Boy, sometimes they do work. If he becomes a free agent or he signs with PBC or Golden Boy, then all them fights are realistic with the exception of the Tio fight. So he needs to me, if I'm Shakur, it's time, Gio, Dream, it's time to say, I need the big dogs, bro. Because you know what? He can't keep putting up these performances against these fighters we consider him leagues above.
That's a great point.
So he needs to get in there with an A1 fighter, man. It's time already. That's it. Now, if they're willing to get in there with him, then it's not his fault. But we shall see.
Look, well, listen. I think that for him to redeem himself a bit, what he's got to do is he gotta let go of Top Rank. But this is the thing, man. I feel like PBC's future, PBC probably ain't even signing nobody right now, so their future is uncertain. But I feel that that's the move that he should make if they are available, if they're even going to continue to be an entity. To be honest with you, because the future of PBC looks uncertain, at least for the time being. It looks like the well dried up over there. So let's say he doesn't do that, which I think he should do. He should try to go to PBC. They'll give him a good fight before the Tank fight, and then they'll give him the Tank fight. If he's at PBC, believe me, Tank will fight him. That's what it's about. It's politics. That's the reason these guys are not fighting. It's politics. So he could either fight Pitbull over there once at PBC, and maybe if he beats Pitbull, he can fight Tank. But I don't think Pitbull ain't no warm up, guys. Pitbull ain't no warm up. Pitbull's a guy. Pitbull's a guy that me. I would favor him over Shakur. Now, as far as re-signing with Top Rank and fighting Baranchik, Gio, that's a no. That's a no. He can't do that. He can't fight no Baranchik. Because one, he gonna cook him, right? But again, if he cook him and don't look good and it looks like this, then bro, he might be done. They might put him on, on televised. He might go to Broadway boxing show or something like that. Like he can't do that, man. The
only reason I say that is not really bad because Dennis Berenchek has something. He has a title.
Yeah, but that, as a boxing head, you care about that. But for his appeal to grow, that's not a marketable fight. I know, but he needs to be marketably rescued right now, and that's not the move.
All right, so you rather if he can't get the Tank, the Pitbull, or Tio fight next. So you say you rather him fight a Frank Martin opposed to getting the belt against Dennis Berenchek?
Absolutely, because everybody will vote for that as well. Everybody, because they're going to be like, all right, well, nah, you talking that Tank stuff? Nah, we're not listening. Fight Frank first, and then we'll see. Because Baranchek, Nobody knows him. Yeah, he got a belt, but many people got a belt in boxing. You said it last night. I mean, the other Saturday night. Anybody can get a belt now. Not to put down Berenchek, but we know he's not no great fighter. He's not in that league with those guys, especially the league that Shakur claims to be on. So that will prove nothing. It's not going to
Yes,
prove nothing.
but wait. No, this is what I'm saying. So what's next for Tank? What's in the works, Gio? They talking about?
About fight Lomachenko.
Perfect. Do they both have a belt?
Oh, Lomachenko, yeah.
All right. So the winner of that fight, if it happens, will be a unified champion, correct? Okay.
Yeah.
So if Shakur fights Dennis Berenchek and wins, he'll be a unified. So let's say Tank beats Lomo, Shakur beats Berenchek. So Tank will have 2 belts, Shakur will have 2 belts, and then the fight we want. Not only did we want that fight, we don't even care if they have a belt. We want to see that fight. But now they'll fight for undisputed at 135. Let's talk about it. I'm just saying.
But
then
again,
it becomes much marketable now. Now that fight becomes 10 times because now they'll fight for undisputed. Like I said, we don't even care if they have a belt. We want to see that fight. So now you telling me the winner of Tank and Shakur is going to be undisputed at 135? When was the last time we see a fighter undisputed at 135? I don't remember.
All right. Well, for example, how will the spectator, how will the consumer, at the end of the day, what is this, Sean? What is sports? What is boxing? At the end of the day, what is it?
It's a business.
Okay. So from that perspective, how will the spectators in the Newark area, all the people that tune into the fight, how would they feel about us waiting 8, 9, 10 months and all of a sudden Shakur's opponent is Dennis Berenchek? How Gio, how do you think people would feel about that? And remember, Shakur got a lot of casuals watching him. How do you think that'll be accepted?
I mean, they probably would win a tougher fight, I'm pretty sure, but you know, that's probably the only way to draw Tank in is to get all the belts.
Remember, Tank don't care about belts, and he's been vocal about that.
Well, but he's a current world champion, and they say he's in negotiations with another world champion. So right now,
I ain't never seen none of his belts back though. So
those belts are meaning something now. I'm telling you, Dream. I get what you're saying. Is it an appealing fight? Is it a fight we want? No, right? But I'm just saying, if Tank is tied up, right, which they're talking about he's with Lomo, so he can't fight Tank. Tio, we don't know what's going on up there. And then Pitbull, who he's about to fight now, and that fight don't surface. So then what's wrong with Berenchek? Now, again, I'm not saying I want the fight, but I'm just saying I'm looking at it as right now it might look bad. But if he has 2 belts and Tank has 2 belts, how appealing now a fight with Tank and Shakur looks, bro, 10 times more. Oh, undisputed? Because now we in that undisputed phrase. We seen Bud do it twice.
I understand, but I think if the guy he would be getting a belt from in order to get there was someone else, it would be then more appealing. But what you talking now, to me, my opinion, you talking hardcore talk. You talking hardcore talk. You're not talking casual, big money talk. You talking hard. Again, I don't think Berenchek is the way. He needs something right now to really put his stock back up, and that's not going to be Berenchek. Especially if he fights Berenchek and it looked like that did. You know what I mean?
It
like
is.
If you the people
like
if you the people putting up the money, if you Jay Prince and them, if you top or whoever promotes him, you're not going to be happy. You're not even. That's a route you're not going to want to take.
Well, listen, we'll see. Let's see why he does, who he signs with, if he resigns, or he goes and be a free agent, or he goes and signs with another big promotional company, man. But I want us to move on here.